All right, it is the eve of a historic moment in American history. Tomorrow, for the first time, prosecutors will present opening statements in a criminal trial of a former U.S. president. Donald Trump will walk into a Manhattan courtroom tomorrow morning where he will hear the state's case against him. He is facing dozens of charges related to an alleged hush money payment to adult film actress Stormy Daniels made before the 2016 election. This is the first of 4 criminal cases against Trump to go to trial. CNN's Marshall Cohen joining us now with more on this. Marshall, walk us through what the trial just might look like.
Hey, Fred, it's history in the making in New York City tomorrow, where Donald Trump will be the first former president of the United States to watch the opening statements in his own criminal trial. So let's just remind everybody how we got here, because we're just a few months away from the 2024 election, but this is all about the 2016 presidential election. Donald Trump facing 34 felony charges. Those are state charges brought by the top prosecutor, the district attorney in Manhattan. State charges. If he's convicted, he can't pardon himself. The alleged crime is falsifying business records in connection with that hush money payment to Stormy Daniels, which was routed indirectly through the Trump Organization. Prosecutors say that they falsified the records on the books there. We have 12 jurors and 6 alternates. That was what last week was all about, whittling down that jury pool to get a seated panel of 12 and 6 alternates. This is expected to go about 6 weeks, perhaps. That means we could have a verdict this summer. And of course, Donald Trump has pleaded not guilty, and he denies the affair with Stormy Daniels very aggressively. So what are the prosecutors going to be talking about tomorrow? Unfortunately, the viewers at home, you won't be able to watch. You won't even be able to listen. There are no cameras in court. We have an entire team of reporters that will be there and sketch artists to do their best to bring it to life. The prosecutors are going to try to bring this to life by telling a story of what happened in 2016. And they have a bunch of witnesses lined up and ready to go that surely they'll be presenting in the coming days and weeks. Michael Cohen, first and foremost, he's the star witness in many respects. He was Trump's right-hand man, attorney, and fixer. He has now turned state's witness, and he is a serious critic of Donald Trump. It was him who paid the money to Stormy Daniels in 2016 to keep her quiet. She never went public with those allegations before the 2016 election, thanks to that hush money payment. There's also Hope Hicks. She is a Trump campaign official. She was part of the scramble behind the scenes in 2016 to prevent more damaging information from coming out against the candidate. Then on the bottom, you have Karen McDougal and David Pecker. McDougal is a former Playboy playmate who also alleged that she had an affair with Donald Trump, and David Pecker, as the head of the National Enquirer, purchased the rights to her story. But they buried it. They never published it, Fred, and that is part of a scheme that prosecutors have called catch and kill between Pecker, Cohen, and Trump to find bad stories, anything damaging about Trump, buy it, bury it, and make sure the voters would never hear about it. Fred?
All right, Marshall Cohen, thanks so much. Let's bring in our legal expert now. Michael Zeldin is a former federal prosecutor who served as Robert Mueller's special assistant at the Department of Justice, and he's the host of That Said with Michael Zeldin podcast. Michael, great to see you. So, opening statements tomorrow, and in a case of this magnitude, how long do you expect those statements to go?
They could last an hour or two each. I don't think it's that complicated a case. You probably could get it done within 40 minutes or so, but lawyers these days seem to talk a lot longer in opening statements than when I was trying cases. So we'll have to see, Fred. But this is a pretty straightforward case factually. And what the prosecution needs to do is define what the terms of this case are about, which is business fraud. This is not a private agreement between private citizen Trump and private citizen Stormy Daniels, something that they could have done, but rather this is a complicated scheme to defraud the voters of the information they needed before the election and the taxpayers of New York for the income that they might get if this was properly reported on their books and records.
So how important is it going to be for prosecutors to also use this opportunity to kind of teach the jurors. Some of them may not be, very familiar with business, what's permissible, what's unethical, what's illegal. So their opening statements might also be an opportunity to kind of teach them what the roadmap will be, or will they be saving that for later?
No, I think that is exactly what I would do were I trying this case. I'd want to say, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, let me tell you what this case is about. Let me educate you about the facts of this case, what the scheme was, what its intention was, how that intention was accomplished. And here are the witnesses who are going to be testifying to that. And by the way, here are the business records themselves that support everything we are saying. So you can believe or not believe an individual witness here or there, but the business records support everything each of them is saying. So at the end of the case, we're going to ask you for a verdict of guilty.
We've seen already part of the strategy of Trump's defense team has been to delay by a number of motions, and most defense attorneys would do that, right? But I'm wondering, too, do you expect that they might be argumentative in the midst of the prosecutor's opening statements as a delay tactic or something else, some other motivation?
Well, it's a great question. When I was a defense attorney, I used to periodically object in the opening statement of prosecutors. Very unusual. I was just an annoying lawyer. I don't think they'll object in the opening statements, but I do think they will make a big push to get out their counter narrative, which was there was no fraud here. There was no intention to defraud anybody. This was just an agreement between Citizen Trump and Citizen Daniels to pay money to suppress a story which was untrue but damaging. And so there was a calculation made that, like with Karen McDougal or others, we would suppress, just like Bill Clinton did with the so-called bimbo eruptions when he was running. No harm, no foul, no intent to defraud, private case, government prosecuting me because I'm Donald Trump to interfere with the election. I think sort of that's their narrative. We'll see how much leeway the judge gives them to make it, though.
Okay. And you say opening statements, it could be just an hour or so. That means there would be room for witness number 1 or 2. Would the judge want things to keep moving in that respect and get the witnesses in if it turns out that opening statements are very short, or would the judge instead want to wait until a new fresh day?
Well, it depends on how long into the day it runs. Let's say they start right away, 9:30 in the morning with opening statements, and opening statements take all morning. Then they have a lunch break, and then they'll call the first witness in the afternoon. If I'm wrong and the opening statements last hours and hours, and it's not until 3 o'clock that they are ready for the first witness, the judge could make a determination to start fresh in the morning. But I think that we might have a very good chance of seeing witness number 1 tomorrow in the afternoon.
All right. Michael Zeldin, good to see you. Thank you so much. Of course, we have live coverage tomorrow. Reporters allowed in the courtroom, no live cameras, but we will have live coverage all day.